what is actually rather safe. Yet everyone treats it as far more scary than it is. Australian wildlife. We have more than our fair share of potentially dangerous critters. The vast majority are either in remote areas, will flee the moment they sense you coming, or hardly ever move from their hiding spots. Generally, in order to have a fatal encounter with the wildlife here, you'd have to seek them out, invade their territory, and intentionally provoke them. On the other hand, I've seen videos of bears, wolves, and big cats stalking people and breaking to homes. The unsung hero that's treated like a horror movie. It is actually a walk in the park. Elevators. Seriously. These metal boxes of vertical transport get a bad rap. Statistically, you're more likely to be struck by lightning while being audited by the IRS and experience elevator drama. So next time you step in, enjoy the brief, drama-free descent or ascent without imagining a cable snap. Elevators, the underrated, gravity-defying chariots of daily life. Let's talk about the misunderstood hero of the insect world, spiders. Seriously, these 8-legged artists are like nature's pest control, silently taking care of the bug business. Yet, everyone treats them like tiny arachnid assassins. It's time to give spiders a break. They're more into creating web art than plotting world domination. So, next time you see one, just appreciate the tiny architect doing its job. One example of something that is often treated as scarier than it is would be flying on an airplane. Air travel is statistically one of the safest modes of transportation, with rigorous safety standards and protocols in place. However, due to factors like media portrayal, fear of the unknown, or anxiety around heights, many people perceive flying as more frightening than the actual risk indicates. I work at the medical examiner office, and when the electric scooters started becoming popular in cities, I was like, so many motherfuckers are going to meet their doom on those things. Vehicle versus bicyclist is such a common death in spring-summer, but it's been 5 years since they've popped up in my city, and I've never had a scooter-related death. I'm sorry to whomever I have summoned. You know what's surprisingly chill? But gets treated like it's straight out of a horror movie. Public speaking. Seriously, it's like we're all programmed to think standing in front of a crowd equals instant meltdown. But let's be real. Most people in the audience are just hoping you don't bore them to death. So take a deep breath, crack a joke, and own that spotlight. Speaking as a person who grew up in the 70s to the dentist. Going to the dentist when I was young was damn near medieval torture, and I avoided it in my later years. But after my son married a dentist, and she had me in for some much-needed dental work, I saw just how far the treatment had come, and that it was a relatively pain-free and pleasant experience. Being a cop, it isn't nearly as dangerous as cops try to say it is. It's an excuse they give so they can get sympathy when they reveal themselves as bloodthirsty lunatics. My job is more dangerous than a cop's. If I attacked and abducted someone because I was upset, or because I thought it was legal and my boss said it was okay, I'd be in jail for decades. Jar knew, and in the mom groups for epidurals, there's fentanyl in them, but medical grade and provided by doctors. But it's all of a sudden being deemed unsafe and people are choosing to go without it. Note that doctors aren't saying it's unsafe, but it's definitely views I'm seeing more and more. In the parenting groups, undercooked pork, you can't eat it rare, but it doesn't have the same issues chicken does. In the same vein, raw eggs don't give you salmonella. It's like a 1/20,000 chance to get an egg that would make you sick. If you ate a raw egg every day, why would you? The odds are you run into one within nearly 57 years. To perch, just stay in your house. Seriously. The biggest threat are the people inside with you. Honorable mention the military. Respect our fallen wounded. But there are so many other things to do than see combat. But the media content would have you believe that's the only thing going on. Yes, I served GMO food. I hate to tell you, but pretty much everything you eat has been genetically modified. Why do you think bananas don't have seeds anymore? Or corn is so sweet and juicy? Over time we picked what we liked and modified it, blended, created new things. 'Cause cotton candy grapes definitely are just from nature. Letting your kids go off and explore on their own, No, pedophiles aren't laying in wait to snatch your kid from the shadows. The vast majority of abductions are at the hands of someone the child knows, and even more likely at the hands of a non-custodial. It's pretty much always been. Tandem skydiving. It is absurdly safe. It is so safe that on the extremely rare situations where tandem passenger is injured or killed, you hear about it on the news. The most dangerous part of doing a tandem skydive is driving to the drop zone. Sleeping with someone who is HIV, it is undetectable. Not a single confirmed case of error conversion. While having unprotected sex with someone following their medication regime and keeping their viral load at undetectable levels. MSG. Riding roller coasters. The amount of safety testing and regulations they undergo is immense. Yet, the fear of that drop gets to so many. Think about it though. Your daily car trip is statistically way riskier. Seat belts. I've heard look at the injuries they cause, yeah. 'Cause they physically held a person in place instead of flying through a windshield and becoming a Jackson Pollock piece on the pavement. Sharks. 2023 so doubling of unprovoked fatal shark attacks. And how many were there? Around the world. 0.10. Just 10. Meanwhile, how many sharks do humans kill per year? 100 million. After wading through a bunch of posts on swimming and cramps, it is unbelievable that so many people still think this is a thing. Going outside in the cold after a shower. That literally does not make you sick. And airplanes as well. I get the fear, but at the same time they are one of the safest forms of travel. Nuclear fusion plants. Now that nuclear ignition was hit, they can become a reality still. Most don't understand the differences and how meltdowns can occur in fusion plants. Traveling solo can appear daunting, but with proper planning and awareness, it's often a rewarding and enriching experience. Don't let fear stop you from exploring the world. Aspartame, probably the most studied food additive out there. We know what it is and how it is metabolized. It won't give you cancer. It won't give you insulin resistance. Trick or treating. The razor blades and the drugs in the candy were an urban legend and a misunderstood freak crime. At the time, no one is doing anything to Halloween candy. Chemicals in general. There's a really popular trend of chemophobia and worship of the biological and unnatural that sometimes steps right into cult mentality. Air travel, thousands of planes are taking off and landing throughout the day without fail. We only hear news about the 1 in a million cases of aircraft failure. Mowing the lawn. You'd have to be an idiot to injure yourself with a push lawnmower. But the spoiled kids in my French class thought it was scary and dangerous. Trying to parallel park in a crowded parking lot. It's like playing real-life Tetris with a car, but with way less pressure than we put on ourselves. MSG. Once I learned more about it, and the conspiracy against it, motivated by racism, I now commonly cook with it. It adds so much to many dishes. Safe isn't the right word, but MSG is no worse for you than regular salt. It naturally occurs in a lot of stuff, and it is the key to FLVOR. Socializing. Everyone is nervous. Everyone has anxiety. Just go out and enjoy yourself. And don't be a pest and no one will care. Eating food that is past the best before date. Only if the food looks and smells as you expect. It should be okay to eat. I've been told many times I am, or can be intimidating. I think I look like the nerdy marshmallow that I am. Opossums. They are non-aggressive to the point it's absurd. You can pick them up or pet them, and they just hiss. Rattlesnakes. They are not interested in you and will flee if they can. Very important for rodent control. 2. Living alone as a woman. Traveling alone as a woman, etc. You're safer this way than being with a partner. Flying. You're more likely to get injured driving to the airport than soaring 30,000 feet in the air. Skydiving. The number of accidents is so low, then when it does happen, it makes front page news. Nuclear waste. Most people think it's some toxic green news, but it's just slightly irradiated water. Flying on an airplane. Driving yourself to the airport is more dangerous than the flight itself. Food safety for a family. Different for restaurants. But home food safety is pure paranoia. Flying. you are far more likely to get into a car accident than crashing in a plane. Going to Mexico, relax and enjoy the resort. No one is going to kidnap your fat ass. Driving behind a logging truck. Settle down. Stop with the final destination stuff. Teat. The shit you can get from insect bites is the scary part of the equation. Turbulence. The plane itself is designed for it. But please buckle up. Spiders in the house OFC, not talking about the venomous ones. Long as it's in a plane or other such aircraft. I can't believe this needs to be said. Vaccines are safe. Surely the modern answer to this is telling the truth.